I've got two very, very fantastic people around me who are going to do the studio component of the discussion. But again, you the viewers, especially all of us, all the viewers, last week we had several people giving their comments and their contribution to the show. Our viewers from the US especially who watch us from modern Ghana, we thank you so much for always making the time to watch us. We expect your comments as well. You are in America, which is foreign land, but you have a stake in the affairs of our motherland. So please feel free, send your comments to us. Follow us on Liam's TV on Facebook, such that your comments can also equally be added to the program. I want to welcome my guest for today, and I have a queen and a king. I want to put it in that order. I have to my immediate right the indefatigable, always looking gorgeous Hawa Shaban. And Hawa Shaban is a member of the youth wing of the ruling National Patriotic Party. Hawa, you are so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm not wrong in saying that you always look gorgeous. My viewers, and especially those who know you, will attest to this fact. And to my extended right, I have Kofi Nyonyoh. Kofi Nyonyoh is a student of politics and history and tends a lot and learns a lot towards social analysis. We can even call him a social scientist for that matter. And he's here with us to also do the discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, you are so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right. On the grassroots, we say power to the people. So if you wouldn't mind when I say grassroots, you can support our people to know that the power actually belongs to them. So grassroots,
Power
to the people. Right. I think I'll repeat to you in coming for the show over and over again, because indeed you have just given the power to those it belongs to, right? There are several issues that have made the headlines within the week. All of us have been following news, making the headlines. Top of them are the fact that the Electoral Commission has successfully completed their processes in taking the applications of Ghanaians who must be prepared towards election 2020. They'll be doing the mock-up today and tomorrow. But the first phase of over 30 days, they've stipulated to gather applications have gone successfully in our estimation. But some of the view that, let me just ask you, have you registered yourselves? Starting with Hawa, you registered?
Yes.
Okay, and you also registered.
Did that last 2 weeks.
Lovely. Yeah, you are participating Ghanaians. You are not spectators for that matter. That's one of the most touchy and salient things I pick from, as an inspiration from the president all the time, that we must learn to be citizens and not spectators.
Right.
Yeah. So kudos that you've all registered. But can you tell us, maybe starting with Hawa, just briefly, how your experience had been through the process? Earlier in our first engagement on the show, we had narrations of delay at the polling station, non-compliance with COVID protocols, and minding all of us, COVID is still, a challenge to us. We are winning one way or the other, but it's still something that we must send our focus to as well. So, you please tell us your experience when you went through the process for registration. We'll start with Hawa.
Okay. Good morning to your viewers, those abroad and those in Ghana. I think registration started 30th of June, and I registered, I think, in the third phase at Tafsilia Islamic School in Nima. So I am an indigenous of Nima, of course. So I registered there. I got there in the afternoon around 12:31. And when I got there was a bit of tension between polling agents, party polling agents, where they complained about somebody not being a resident of the area. So I got there were tension. I went to wash my hand as protocol demanded. My temperature was checked, and then I got in there. Of course, there were not too many people there. So I joined the queue, I got registered, I had my Ghana card with me, so I gave it out, and then I was asked some few questions. I went through it. It wasn't more than 10 minutes, I should say. So I had a pleasant registration process, just that it was just a scene of party polling agents who had their issues here and there. But the police were there to calm them down, and then it was successful because I met about just 5 people at the registration center, which was a bit less as I expected it to be. Yes.
Wow. I would say your experience is a good one. So many people will also either share, a similar account as you've experienced, or may differ in their submission. So I don't know, Kofi, do you share the same experience, or yours had a variation?
Good morning to you, and good morning to our cherished audience who are here in Ghana and abroad and all other countries watching us this morning. I also had my registration, I think, 2 weeks ago, and I share the same sentiment with my sister Hawa that the registration was very smooth, unlike the initial stages that we heard about protest and all kind of agitations at other registration centers. Where I had mine.
Where did you have yours? Hawa had hers at Nima.
I had mine at Kita constituency.
Okay.
My school called State State School at Abushakova.
Okay.
Just a bit 50 minutes away from the Kita Municipal Assembly.
Okay.
That's where I had mine. So
and how close is that to K2 South? Because in our subsequent
K2 South shares a border with Kita constituency.
Okay.
So I think we should be. I think I'm about 20 minutes or 15 minutes drive from Kita to K2 South.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't that much close because Kita also has another border with Nyonyoh constituency. So it's just like the Kita constituency is in the middle of between the K2 South and Nyonyoh.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any pocket of violence, and where I had mine, I think the same thing that I was saying. I went through all the protocols, washed my hands, took my sanitizer, asked questions where I lived, gave them my house number, where I came from, where my hometown is. Those are all those basics requirements that you needed. Went for my bio data and all that. So it was a smooth registration process I went through. I didn't have any distinct problem going through that process. So I think it was a laudable distance after that.
Okay, that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. Only that I'll be quick to add, and then we will delve into some conversations thereon. Your 2 specific experiences want me, or for the love of me, I want to conclude that then we can applaud the Electoral Commission and its commissioners for having done a smooth work with recommendation and also forms of commendation. But some of the view that your experiences are just one in a whole, and when we look at the majority others, or some very red alert others, it was rather characterized by some form of tribal bigotry, intimidation, abuse of the rule of law, and the like. What do you share in this sentiment, or otherwise? I'll start with you at this time, Kofi.
Well, as I said, where I registered, I never had such experience, but I wouldn't, also doubt what the news reported. And it wasn't one news, report that came, had to, I just don't want to give credence to, the spin around the intimidation and all the tribal bigotry and the political actors will be, because what I've realized is that whatever situation that comes, our politicians will always use it as a punching stage to achieve an agenda. So I wouldn't say what the opposition is saying was a lie, because we all saw videos that was going on, and I wouldn't say what the Ministry of Defense or whatever. Well, we wouldn't want any foreigners to be on our voters register.
Precisely.
As we are going forward, we wanted to have a clean Ghana register that all of us ascribe to. But for the military people who were not part of our registration process, they were specifically asked to mount the borders. So if they were mounting the borders and some went overboard, going to people's home or even going to registration centers to intimidate people, that was not what we agreed on. So that was part of the issue that was being discussed or people were agitating over. But apart from it, I didn't see anything wrong with the military being at our border posts trying to stop foreigners from coming onto our registration centers to register as foreigners. Because I wouldn't like it for somebody to be on the voter registration, because I cannot go to United States or Togo or Burkina Faso or Cote d'Ivoire to go and register.
In fact, to elect a public officer for them.
Because I have no business with them, or I don't have any stake in what happens in their country. So
in fact, you don't pay any taxes to them.
Exactly.
To come and participate in such a. But then you made the point that some must have been applying a spin, all right, a political spin to what is happening there. In your evaluation, seeing that, well, there could be pockets of this, and again, the state has instructed security apparatus to ensure that, number one, COVID, since the horizontal infections began, person to person began in our country, that has led us to where we are now. So one of the main reasons put forth, especially from even the Minister of Defense, Honorable Dominic Nitiwo, was that these security men are there to ensure that the borders are sealed, okay, against people who would have even come into our country with COVID and the like. But talking about your spin, where, for example, the opposition National Democratic Congress are laying severe and very hard claim to their experiences and narrations from the ground, that these soldiers or security apparatus are not at the border posts, but rather they are at the polling stations, where clearly our electoral processes and laws do not have security personnel as people who should be on the ground when electionary matters are ongoing. And again, they say that people are being requested to show their national identification, either in the breather document, either in the form of a passport or the ID, the national identification card, before they are allowed to be in the queue. Again, some also say at the OT region that security officers were having conversations with people who are in the process for application, and if you are able to speak French, right? And some jovially will say that if they go by that, then our president, who is a classic, person when it comes to the French language, right, also speaks French. But these people on the ground, when they are crazed with the French language and they respond, the resultant outcome is that they are asked to go because they are considered to be Togolese. Do we consider all this as a spin, or we should take a critical look at it?
No, I don't consider all as a spin, because you and I think we should also accept the fact that most of these security service personnel who have been sent to these areas might not be abreast with what goes on in the community per se. Because if you know, example, we're always using the K2 South as as a case study. It's a border post, and if you go to the K2 South, the major town in K2 South is Aplao, and it's the only town in Ghana that shares a boundary with a capital city of a country. Unlike all other borders that we have in Ghana, it's only K2 South city, which is Aplao, that shares a border with the city or the capital city of Togo.
Yeah.
So the inflow of pedestrians and traders and workers and all that, automatically the French speaking becomes a lingua franca, that anybody who has that kind of a linkage with the Togolese border might be speaking. Just like a kid growing up in an area in Ashanti, whether you are from Volta region or you are from the northern region, Twi is something that you easily pick up.
Yeah.
So for anybody to go to that area and not being trained or being advised on what to look for, instead of just bonjour, was the wrong thing that those security men did. But as I was saying, those were not in an escalation to the extent that other spends should be put on it. That's what I was saying earlier, that those spends are probably being used to set an agenda. But I wouldn't also say things of such didn't happen. If you look at the Banda issue, that people were at a town, which is a community, an island community, and you know these Voltarians, most of them go to all these areas with river and what you call the water areas for economical purposes. There are Voltarians somewhere in Cameroon, all because of fishing. So if a Voltarian is in what you call a Banda constituency and is called a Liklim or Mawena, and he's lived all his life in that community, because they don't have a polling station or a registration center at that island where they were, they have to come to a community which was closer to their island, which has what you call it, the registration center. So if the security have not been briefed on this and they have to come to the registration center to intimidate or maybe stop those people from crossing to the registration center, that was also wrong. So I thought when the Minister of what do you call it, Defense, which is Honorable Dominic Into, was briefing the press or maybe answering questions from journalists, he could have, restrained from saying certain words that will make it look like it was an agenda that he set or maybe the government set to intimidate the opposition, what do you call it, base.
I thought he was even clear in his submission or public address as to why Minister of Defense has released soldiers to the borders. And within Banda specifically, it is a fact in public domain that RECSEC, the Regional Security Council there, had agreed between the parties on what modalities will best fit their situation there. One of such being that political actors, primarily NDC and NPP, their leaders should not bash people, bash as in organize people and make them have that compact arrangement to come and register. And at Banda, the popular video that had the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, making phone calls as a barrier is set up by the soldiers. At that point, you can see behind him too a truckload of people. So if RECSEC had agreed on that particular dimension, that don't bash people, and you are bashing people to that side, do we put this blame on the doorstep of the Minister of Defense and his team, or we should say it's an indiscipline from political actors?
As I was saying, those people that I saw on the video that were being bashed, I don't know the arrangement that the political party, which is the opposition party NDC, had with them. But you know some of these communities that you go with the level of the poverty situation and all that, there are people who might not be able to even assess what do you call it, the place. So they needed to be helped. Like where I went to have my registration, there were some old ladies in areas that they what do you call it, the people, statesmen and all that have to organize some kind of transportation to bus them to, but it wasn't in such, what do you call it, huge organized like a plan distance. So that's what I mean, that political actors always find a way, which is a little way to make sure that whatever agenda they are setting is being implemented. So with that, those are just a pocket few of situations that I wouldn't mind. It wasn't an escalation. That's all what I wanted to say. It wasn't an escalation.
Okay, Kofi Nyonyoh, thank you so much for throwing your light on that aspect of the electoral process so far. I think at this point we'll come to reflecting on Honorable Hawa Kumsen. I want to add Honorable to your name being Hawa. Right? Hawa, you've heard Kofi Nyonyoh analyzing his take on outcome of the electioneering process being supervised by primary stakeholder, the Electoral Commission so far. 16,663 thereabouts people have been registered. doesn't this deserve commendation and all that? But being a member of the youth wing of the MPP, the MDC, and I'm sure their youth wing members will also be told that same line, that no, tribal bigotry, discrimination, intimidation, flagrant abuse of natural justice, because some people are asked to present ID when they don't have a say, they go away, and conclusively, disenfranchisement of people towards December 2020 election. What's your take on this?
All right, good morning once again. I think I would want to say a very good morning to the Excellency Leonardo Dankwa Kofi for manning this country very well. Aside that, I would say a very big thank you to my boss, Dr. Mustafa Abdelhamid, for at least grooming some of us to this point. I'm a proud youth member of the MPP, I must say. We started this whole argument about registration and eligibility of young Ghanaians, older citizens, and everybody somewhere March, where people started talking about the commission, the EC to be precise.
Yeah.
Madame Jane Mensah, who did a very yeoman's job. She actually, I should say, she's a man in her position, because she's been resilient, she's been focused, and she's been brave. I wouldn't want to speak for the EC, like I always say, because I'm a political actor myself. I would want the EC to speak for themselves in such situations. But I am of the view that...
I love that, and I wouldn't want to interrupt you, but somebody who's watching us right now will be feeling like, oh, if you say that you wouldn't want to speak for the Electoral Commission, their view is that you've always been speaking, the MPP has always been speaking for, and in fact, you called the shot. In fact, yesterday I was following the news on one of our sister stations where somebody is making the allusion that the process that registered students, SHS students on their campuses, was it, in fact, this is not factual, but that is his aspersion, that it was supervised by the youth wing leader, the MPP, in the person of Henry Nanabi. You're right. So
rightly said.
You speak for the EC.
When I say I don't speak for the EC,
Great.
I'm saying that the entire electoral process of Ghana is independently mandated and given to a body, which is the Electoral Commission.
Right.
So their processes and their works is within their framework. I am a party or a political activist, and so I can't actually speak for them as an institution, but I can speak based on my opinion or as a youth member of the MPP. Rightly said, we have seen videos of people who are allowed or not allowed to vote, to go and register. And we have actually seen videos of people who are bussed from certain areas to another areas. But one thing I keep asking myself is that if you stay in Tema and registrations are done in phases, cluster by cluster, 5 phases, every cluster is in 5 clusters, every cluster has 5 phases, okay? And there are areas where a resident must go and register and vote. And we've said that their eligibility is that you should be a Ghanaian, you should be of sound mind, you should be 18 years and above, and a citizen of this country. You are allowed to go and register and vote. Now, waiting for December 7th election, you go to a polling station and you're allowed to register. What do you need to register? You need your Ghana card, or you need a passport, or you need a guarantor. So if somebody says that I have been told to go home because I do not have a Ghana card or a passport, or somebody had challenged my citizenship, you need a guarantor to guarantee for you, right? Now, this party polling agents have people they can easily call to come and guarantee for you. They themselves are registered members, okay? They give you their card to actually register. Now, I don't see where there is a disconnection between these two ideas, okay? If you are challenged that you are a non-resident of that area, what you do is that you are allowed to register. You are not allowed not to register. Nobody can tell you go home. You are allowed to register, but there is a form for a polling agent to pick and say, okay, I challenge you.
Yeah.
Then you'll be sent to electoral commission or prosecuted to come and answer.
Yeah.
Now these are the basic rules of engagement. NPP, NDC, PNC, PPP, LPG, and even the Boom Party. Everybody understands. These are the basic rules of engagement. Now to tell me that because I am a Northerner or I am a Zongo person, let us use the Zongo community and let's not use the Northerners because they are Ghanaians.
Right.
Let's use the Zongo community where people say that these are people who are coming from West African countries and their ancestors have settled here and they are a mix of every language or every ethnicity and all that.
So by and large, we can say the Zongo, if we are extending it, would have deserved a region by themselves in Ghana.
Because people have made those assertions.
Right.
That's why I want to use them as an example. You go to a polling station and you are told you cannot register. I mean, who says that? How dare you? I mean, who are you? Because I registered, I have a Ghana card, I have a passport. Even if I do not have, somebody must stand and say, okay, I know her and she's a citizen. So I don't know where all this ethnicity is coming from. You are not a Ghanaian. And I would want to use your Oti region example. I come from Nkwanta in the Oti region, and my mom is there. And I had a conversation with my mom over the phone, and I asked her, what is the situation there? And she said, okay, she went to register, nobody questioned it. But there are instances where people come, they are not residents, but she hears, or people come back from the station and they are like, we went there and we saw some people and they are denied not to register, or they are prohibited. And there were questions to it because, of course, I expect that they are allowed to register, and so later they would go and answer.
Yeah.
And I had another call with the PC over there, the parliamentary candidate, and she said it is not true. Nobody had been denied access. The only thing is that these countries around the Oti region, you know, the Lome and Oti region, they have a mountain.
Yeah.
And it's just a walk. You just need to walk across the mountain and come to Onkanta or Pasa or Broniase, these areas. You just need to climb the mountain and you are in Ghana.
Yeah.
So they had people doing that and the military stopped them because they are manning the borders.
Okay, but because this is a qualitative information you got, somebody called you and gave you narration from the ground. If it is the case that the people are being identified as having easily meandered their way behind the mountain and they are within Nkwanta, they are within the OT region, coming from another region, shouldn't we then say that the process should have started in stopping them? The process should have started at the entry point, at the border post, and not, because that's the understanding we have for which security has been deployed.
You see,
so why should they move from the border post and are rather at the police stations?
No, they are not at the police station. You see, the defense ministry is doing a good job, and I must commend them because I feel that they are not just at the border post, but they are at every area or every space where they find citizens coming in, other citizens of other countries coming into the country. So let's say you get to the main Aflau border. Yeah. You know there are other routes. Several routes. Yeah. They are there.
And I've told that
the security intelligence had picked that and they are there manning those areas. So if you have another post that comes from Togo to Oti region or through to Nkwanta, the security are there, they stop you there. Yeah. And this is first-hand information from somebody who had visited the site, because she has a whole constituency she wants to win. So she has to be vigilant.
The BC of...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Sharifa Tijani. I have to say good morning to her. So if you are looking at all these instances, you should know that there is a cause to be worried, because I do not vote in Togo. I can't vote in Nigeria. I cannot vote in Cote d'Ivoire. Why are you struggling to vote in Ghana? What is your interest? Just 2 days ago or yesterday, UTV reported that there are almost more than 10 Ivorians
Yeah.
who were arrested.
The figure is actually about 66 of them, which is
of course more than
high.
50.
Yeah.
Which is quite. I mean, what is your interest in Ghana's electoral process? What do you seek to achieve? Who brought you? The question is, who brought you? What do you want to come and do? And there are other issues or other instances where people say that the indigenes around Aflau, some are Ghanaians.
Yes.
Because you have people even speaking Gan. There is a village around that side,
Yes.
which I understand they speak Gan very well.
Yes.
Now what happens is that those at the other side, the Togolese at the other side, that are not too far from Aflau, okay, do business with these people.
Right.
So what they do is that, according to what I have gathered, they feel that the Ghanaian economic system is better for them. So most of their savings, their banking, is actually done in Aflau or Sogakope or any other border town closer to
okay.
it, and it's in Ghana.
Okay.
So what they did is that they illegally had Ghana card, the voter, the old one. So what they do is that they quickly come to Ghana and transact their businesses. And political actors take advantages of these situations and then bus them to come and vote. For me, I am very, I should say, I'm very disappointed in Asiyo Nketia because a general secretary of a party, in this time of crisis, you bus people, more than 20 people. You are not ashamed.
Yeah, in fact, the explanation provided by the NDC is that he did not initiate that process and supervise him until he got to the barrier where
so
the
I'm coming. You
were.
have representative in that Banda town.
Yes.
Okay. You have a party chairman there.
Yes.
You have a secretary there. You have an organizer
and
there.
they called him to come.
So when they called you to come, when you come, I'm sure Dan, when I invite you into a situation and you come, the first thing you ask is that, what is the situation here?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So you take into consideration the major stakeholders in that situation, what was said before you came, and what was the agreement.
Yeah.
So based on that, you are able to tell you coming in what you are able to do or what you are bringing on board. Sure, you're understanding
I get you.
what I'm trying to say. So if you come as a general secretary of a political party and you ignore the fact that there is a regional coordinating council, there is an EC, there is a district directorate, there is a district security officers, and even the military people trying to explain to you what the situation is. Mind you, even at the borders, there are small villages. So let's say just at the border, there is a small village and there is a registration center there. So because the military are there, they shouldn't register the people.
I think they will register.
They will still do that.
Yeah,
I think in the situation
the argument they put for the Banda, specifically Banda happening, was that the people, like Nyonyoh was pointing to, are fisher folk who live across the river. And where they are, there is no police station there. Which, by and large, we on the grassroots, we think that then the PC of the community had failed in taking care of his people. In that, knowing that the people are up there and the regulation that is governing this electioneering process, you should have requested for police stations to be set up there, just like it was done for the SHS people. That could have been done. But having failed at doing that, now allowing the people to cross the river in their numbers, and you know the communal nature of our existence, these people wouldn't have forgone the option that instead of allowing ourselves to go one by one, let's organize on a particular day, like it's done on the market day schedule and all that. Let's organize on a particular day. We all get across to the other side of the river. We organize a track. These tracks are commonly used there. We have the luxury of buses and so on, but they use track and aboboya and all these things. So if these numbers of people, without the influence of a political party, and are legitimately Ghanaians, because the thinking is that they are not Ghanaians, they are Ivorians, right? But that can only, the citizenship of any member of this country cannot be determined by merely looking at who you are and where you come from. Okay, and arguably so, the chief of one of the paramount chiefs of the community, who was putting for defense for them, is that we know these people. They've lived with us from 1940 thereabout. We've had, some of them are wives, some of them are husbands, and so on and so forth. So by merely looking at them, we cannot draw the conclusion that they are foreigners. However, where they have gotten to and whatever situation inform their busing arrangement, shouldn't we allow them to go to the polling station and there challenge them on the processes outlined by the electoral
That is
commission?
why before I started my submission, I have said that challenging somebody's citizenship is actually part of the rules of the games, and it is acceptable.
At the polling
Now,
station?
Yes, at the polling
Not
station.
remote, at the polling
At
station.
the polling station.
Right.
And the person should be registered before challenging.
Right.
Because what is your evidence of challenging me when I
Right.
haven't registered?
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
So what I am trying to say is that if the PC failed to make arrangements, or the EC couldn't make arrangements, or stakeholders didn't think about that, now we are political actors. We want to bus people to come and vote, or we want to assist the aged or people who will feel that they are citizens of this area. Granted, it is so, to come and vote. What is the proper way to do in this time of crisis?
What do you suggest?
Because I suggest that you don't actually bus 20 people in a truck like that. I mean, with the greatest of respect, give them some respect. What I saw, I didn't like it, because if my mom or my dad or a family member was part of it, I'll be so shocked and amazed. You pack people like you've packed, how do you call it?
You want to say sardines?
Yeah,
Okay.
like sardine.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to use that
Right.
word. And you bring them to a point where you want the military to allow you entry.
Somebody
Now-
say this is their choice.
No.
And
that's
indeed,
when
they,
we have
they are comfortable.
when we
in
have
some
when we
minutes.
have COVID protocols,
Right.
you don't do that. It is irresponsible on your part to do so. And for you to defend
Now our passes,
them,
we were doing 3-3 COVID protocol wise. Now we are passing
no
the
nose
passes.
masks,
Very well.
no nose
Very
masks.
well.
You as a party general secretary without a nose mask,
Very well.
you are busily on phone calling whoever to come and support you. I mean, it is irresponsible on his part to
Very
do
well.
that.
Very well.
There are situations where you feel that the station or the polling station is very far from an old person. I took my grandfather to Nima police station to go and register because I felt he was going to queue and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I picked him in a taxi.
Yeah.
And I think I have about 4 grannies in the house. We did 2-2.
Right.
So 2 will go and 2 will come.
Right.
So why don't you want them to wait? Let them wait. Let's do 5 or let's do 10. Go and register and come with your face mask. Now you get to the entry point and the military says, no, you can't register. 1, protocol rules, you've broken it. 2, on the basis of they saying that these people are not citizens, I don't agree. Because
Right.
if indigents are saying they are
The
part
rule,
of
the
us,
rule of law must apply.
they
Yeah.
are part of us.
Yeah.
Let's follow the procedure.
Right.
Let's go
Right.
and we will challenge them.
Right.
I just feel that Johnson and Siedun General Mosquito, it was so irresponsible on his part to actually do that and come out and tell us that we are inciting people against.
Tribal bigotry and
It is not so.
discrimination.
It is
and,
not so.
you
I
know,
mean, in this time
intimidations.
when we have about 4 or 5 months to election, you do not want numbers. If you are president, you don't want numbers.
Wow.
You are now going to fish out for who is Busanga, who is Fulani.
When you don't
When you have
know
a Fulani as your
who-
second leader,
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
where is the sentiment and all these ideas
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
from? I am actually surprised. I don't think that we've gotten to the stage, or we are at the stage where we have to debate ethnicity and tribal politics. I think we are above that. Ghana has gone through that phase,
Yeah.
and we are above that. We are not crawling in democracy.
This-
We are
this-
actually
this is
standing.
our eighth exercise.
Countries
Yeah,
are
so
looking up to
92,
us.
which
South
is no
Africa,
small
even South
achievement.
Africa is looking up to us. Nigeria, other countries are looking at. We are not babies in democracy. With the greatest of respect, I mean,
Yeah.
we are adults. We are even old in democracy.
Mm.
We shouldn't go on that line. We should debate based on policies, based on advancements. You are a development communicator, so we should do things in line with development and see if this is what we have to do. Let's do it. Let's come together as a country. We don't need that now. If you're a political party, have a message. If you have a message, you don't have to bother about all these things.
Okay, so on that beautiful tip of as a political party, have a message. If you have a message, you will not be vesting yourself so much with machoism and who is acting, who is calling shots, who is saying and all that. It's about having a message. You've listened to Hawa. You made your submissions, and I should think that both of you are solidly putting square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes.
Exactly.
And I'll see this as a commendation for the Electoral Commission. But all the same, do you have any points you want to touch on briefly?
As you just said that this is something that, with the whole general exercise, I'll have to give the Electoral Commission 90% a human job that they've done, and I'm looking forward to see what will happen with the 16-member committee that they've set up, because I know there are going to be stakeholders from both CSO and both parties that are going to have a deliberation on what the EC said, that they detected duplication on their database.
And this particular curtain you've raised also leaves. Let me give you, for example, cite just the civil society organization, CSOs, who are strongly arguing that we should not applaud the Electoral Commission at the moment. Why? A new register. It's like going to buy a brand new suit, all right, and you get to the house and so the first thing I need to do is that I have to put it into the laundry. That's not the practice, right? So for the new register, a 16-member committee is now set up to clean it up, take out duplicated cards and all that. Doesn't it take us back to the old conversation? Because the conversation about the old register was that it was bloated, it had people who had died, and mind all of us, God grant us very long lives. But as we complete the process, we are even in the course of doing the process, somebody who has registered, he would have died. So there would always be dead people on the register. Okay, so the old one having these challenges, and a new one, we've not launched our baby yet. But here we are saying we need to clean some people out of it. We stand by that and still give your 90% rating to the
I'll still stand by my 90% because this is something that was a new process from the past or the old one. This is a new process of registration, and the EC had the budget allocation for all the logistics, supplies, and all that. But what I'm not getting or maybe missing is I always would like or maybe will appreciate if the EC by its spokesperson or director of communication, whoever it is, when they are engaging the public.
Madam Sylvia No is there, the PR.
Madam Sylvia No, or maybe Dr. Boxman or any of them who are engaging the public to sensitize them on what the EC does, they should be able to bring the conversation down to the understanding of people. It's not everybody who understands technicalities.
Yeah.
Just like I was saying about this duplication. Basically, when you ask other experts about this duplication situation, the EC were registering people with taking their biodata on the BVR or whatever it is. That BVR was an offline machine.
Yeah.
Because you go to areas that don't have an internet, connection. So they supply the machines with your biodata. Then later, after they've closed by 5, all the registration centers meet at a database point, which is a central database point, so that they load the registrants bio onto this before they transfer it to the the general database at the center. A server. So when you talk to IT expert and all that, they will tell you that when the thing is an offline, you might not detect whether Hawa registered from Nima and later came to Anyaso until the server is being provided with the data. Then they do that kind of what we call visual appreciation to determine whether this Hawa at Nima is the same Hawa who has gone to Anyaso to register as Amina. That. So it's too early, and I like the idea of having a system member committee, and I know both the major political parties that we're talking about, the NDC and NPP, they have solid IT personnel from their side.
Yeah.
You're looking at the NPP with the director of NCA, Mr. Anochi, looking at the NDC with Mr. Osekwame Griffith, with a serious background of IT. I think this shouldn't be anything that should worry some.
These are the same people, right, who had their various angles in debate about the strength of the old system, the qualities it had, the aspiration that we are told it couldn't survive a longer period for which it needed to be changed no matter what. These people had their variants at that point. Do we expect something different at this point? Since it still bothers to
they had their variance in the initial stages, but as the exercise has gone on, and we are in our, I think today they are doing a mopping up at the district centers and district offices, and I don't know when the system member committee is going to start their work. But from now up to the time that they start, I'm sure there are engagements going on between the EC and all these stakeholders, and they will set up a modality and procedures of what is to happen when they go for this visual, appreciation at the center to identify the duplicant because when you do the registration, your number is being taken. Your mobile number or your contact number. So if they identify that Hawa has registered in NEMA and as well has gone to, they will call your number. If you don't respond, they'll have to keep one and take one off. If they come to a conclusion that it's the same Hawa from NEMA who went to Anya or Blekuma Central to go and do a second registration, and they call her to come and explain, maybe it might not be her, but there are similarities. The machine wouldn't be 100% proof.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So if they call Hawa and Hawa is like she's been able to defend herself that she's not the one, and they should go doing an investigation and knowing that it wasn't the same Hawa at NEMA who went to Blekuma Central to do the they take off the other one.
Yeah, but going by these hypothesis, right? We are told that there are well over 50,000. That figure was mentioned by the deputy of the Electoral Commission yesterday, but I don't have it, detail. But I know it's well over 50,000. Looking at how short a time frame we have leading to the elections, right, on one count, and if we want to adopt this hypothetical, position you are putting forth, calling these people to verify. Where clearly there could be two people with same names, same dates of birth, and even similarity in their facial.
Exactly.
Who will be on the register. So go to run this process and have all the duplicates, those that are legitimately duplicates, removed from the system. In the time we have, are we really safe?
I want to believe that the EC is up to the task in doing this exercise before the time that you stipulating that we have. This time frame is just short period to the election, like we have for 3 months to the election.
Barely
I want to believe it's just that I'm not speaking on behalf of the EC, but I want to have that kind of belief that they can be able to do this exercise before we finally roll out the new register for our distant voters, gazetted for a register. I want to believe they can come up with something.
Okay, so Hawa, but again, you also want to tell us whether you believe we are safe. We are not in for any surprises. Everything will run well. But my thinking is, every level of investment into IT systems even comes with these challenges. United States of all places to complain that Russia had hacked their system during the electioneering time. It gives a lot of things for us to learn, that there are gaps within the IT space. But my thinking is, the volume of money we are using to compile this register, it's no joke. Over $150 million, if I'm right, which is no small money. And to get it to this point, and now have issues, technical issues like it is not centralized, it is not hooked to a server, and for that matter, registration input data must be collected at a cluster, a station, and then later we upload everything. Are we doing our state coffers, real good? In that, wouldn't we have invested a bit more, such that we have this data collection from the decentralized point hooked to a server. The moment you click, your serial number, your biometrics are captured and sent. So if you move from there and you go to like where you are citing, you did one in Nima, you move to Anyanso to Mendo. The moment you get to Anyanso to, if we push our investment, because this is something we need it so badly. Shouldn't we have gone a little further? If you read the recommendations by the short committee on the Ayawaso West Wagwan experience, they are even of the view that we should put our systems, toughen ourselves to the point where we can even conduct our elections electronically. Are we seeing that day coming, or it's just a mirage?
Well, I think that with the system member committee set up by the EC, which the EC has about just 3 or 4 slots on them, and the rest are for political parties and CSOs, it should be recommended. Why I'm saying this is that you go to the hospital for a pregnant woman and your time is due to give birth, okay? And you give birth to your child. If you're getting the my analysis.
Oh, sure.
Later, the doctors tell you come back on this date for the baby's first injection. Doesn't mean that you didn't give birth to a human being. It doesn't also say that the childbirth or the delivery process wasn't successful. It doesn't also mean that God didn't create your child well. So all I'm trying to say is that if there should be a committee that is going to take charge of expunging certain people or certain data, which the correct figure is 61,000.
Right.
That is the correct figure.
Right.
And the EC had said that if we are able to do this, the registration or the list or the register they have is going to go down. That notwithstanding, people whose facial or their visual recognition cannot actually be captured by the data would be manually allowed to vote.
Don't you see another brouhaha and
Relax.
I'm so relaxed.
The issue is that if you have people
Mm-hmm.
who look similar, I don't know if you know my sister, we look so much alike. If you have people who have similar visuals,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the machine is able to detect which of them, and mind you, we are connecting this to your national identification card.
Okay.
So we have a data already.
Okay. This is new information that I'm getting.
But you of course, that is why you must take your Ghana card there.
All right. Okay.
Because
As part
certain
of the
information you
documents.
don't actually have to provide
Right.
at the EC. You
Right.
are just asked your mother's name, your father's name,
Right.
and some
Right.
basics.
Right.
And that's all.
Mm.
So if there is a connection like that, expunging certain people who had actually double registered is not going to be a big deal.
Okay.
With registration, of course, even when we started the discussion about a new register, we questioned the credibility of the EC1. We questioned the up to tax we are all talking about in quotes, that the EC cannot do it within a short period of time, but actually they
It sounds like you are speaking for the NDC now.
No,
because they were
I'm
questioning and the MPP maintained their original stand from way back 2012.
Yes,
now, I
I'm
believe.
saying that they are questioned
Right.
how long the EC is going to take, and
Okay.
they feel that the EC cannot do that. So
Okay.
the old register should be maintained.
Right.
But we are saying that we believe in the EC. We know the
Mm.
EC can do. Let's leave the work to the EC.
Mm.
But I'm saying that going back to take out these people we are talking about, because you find out some people are really stubborn. Ghanaians are really stubborn, in quotes. Because I don't know why you should register in Nima and go to Anyanso and go and register.
Do we
When-
tie this to stubbornness or the apparent lack and
No.
it's being filled by motivation, small stipends from politicians?
But I'm
Because you
saying
can only
that-
take advantage
No,
of the
I'm
people
saying
when
that-
their
But
hands
of
are
course,
empty.
can you be twisted? Can you be twisted? Can I be twisted?
No.
Can you be twisted?
Unless you are bringing me what?
Do you understand?
I can't.
It is your
Integrity.
responsibility
Yes.
to go and register
Right.
once
Yeah.
and come back home.
Yeah.
We started election not today
Of course.
in Ghana.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me that in Ghana you have no idea of election unless you are 18 years. Then we need to go and do the education again.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Mm.
But here in Ghana, every citizen knows how elections are run in this country. And even when you are going to register, you find an elderly person or somebody in your area who tells you when you go and register, come back, don't stay there and all that. These are education. These are things we picked up. So if you go and register twice, okay, and the EC calls you and you don't answer, and they try to locate you to let you know that no, you registered twice. So it's either you take one polling station or you don't actually, because people actually get offended by that and they don't go and vote.
But left to me, you are even being very, very soft at application of law, right? But such people, shouldn't they be prosecuted?
I think it'll be a
Fragrant, you know,
it's actually a criminal act.
Yes, so they should be prosecuted.
I don't want to come to that side. I want to deal with it a bit morally and socially.
Okay.
So that you watching us, you know that as a citizen, you have a responsibility not to register twice. You are doing us a great deal, because today we are spending more than how much to work on this register.
Yeah.
And you go and do that, and this 16-member committee, of course, if they work, we are going to give them something, at least for sitting to
Most
work
definitely,
and all that.
most definitely,
Even if they're political
and
parties.
it's all costing the state.
And it's all costing the state, right? So if you think you are not doing yourself any harm, and you think you are doing the EC some harm, or the government some harm, you should know that you as a citizen, you have a responsibility, you have a role. So you not playing your role well is going to be a problem. Now coming to the technicalities, you see.
In conclusion, so we can bring in our
In
viewers,
conclusion, IT issues is not everybody's issue. It's not for any other ordinary person, unless you are IT learned or IT inclined.
Yeah.
So you would understand how these things are.
Yeah.
With the issue of doing it locally and with a click, it should be able to tell that somebody had registered. You and I know that in Ghana we have network issues. So let's say that the machine stops or breaks down due to a network issue, registration should be called to a halt and it shouldn't go on.
You know, but you and I growing up, the motivation we're giving to ourselves by way of habit was always that the sky is your limit.
Yeah.
Which is very, very far away. Many years we can't get into the sky, right? But that's the sort of motivation we give to ourselves. So by assuming that network issue here and all that, aren't we giving a lazy, excuse to the electoral commission, our system?
If only the network will allow. You see, I think that they actually want to avoid. I think they want to avoid done. I'm telling you.
It can be done.
It cannot be done everywhere.
There are remote areas that
it cannot be done everywhere.
You know, there were several bashes records. I'm not pulling your leg a bit, but just so that our viewers can, or their comments are all over here, and I'm going to go to them in no time. But it was thought that it may have its various interpretations, but it was vehemently argued and all that doing a thing like free senior higher education was not possible. It's rocket science. It was not. Isn't it done?
It has been done.
It's been done. So for me, I think that the internet excuse and all that, just so that we know.
It is not the internet per se.
Okay.
But putting it at a collation center where after everybody had moved from their various centers, come to give us, okay, this is what we have. Let's just upload this data and let's cross-check. I think that's the best. But to say that because there are issues here and there, let's do it locally and actually transfer it directly, I think we would have an issue there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hawa, Shaban, for giving us that beautiful analysis and insight into issues making the headlines. Well, Nyonyoh, Kofi, and Hawa, Shaban have interrogated the matters relating to processes underpinning primary stakeholder elections, the electoral commission's activities towards December elections so far. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? We are just putting our lenses on these matters. What do we intend to achieve? What we intend to achieve is to get you, our cherished viewer, to appreciate the issues a lot better, so that the power we will to our political leaders, formally will to them to occupy public space for it, will not just be based on shenaniganism, will not just be based on a hearsay, will not just be based on feelings, and will not just be based on I come from here and I come from there. It should be based on issues, right? We are young people. The majority of my people, young people, and even those of us who are elderly, are going to leave our community, are going to leave our state, are going to leave our affair in the hands of the young people, right? So our interest is for you to appreciate the issues, compare the records, look at the critical nitty-gritties that are devoid of a coloration in terms of party and all that, so that our decision to empower leaders should be the one that 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, we can all look back and say, hey, I'm so glad I contributed to this process. I'm so glad I contributed to this change. And so far, we are enjoying the comments, the views, and we appreciate you all so much. All right, several people are hooked and are watching and are sending shout outs to our guest. Solomon Chester Rector is watching. He says he's watching you guys and he's enjoying you. Samuel Kofi says same. He's watching. Hetty MFA. Ampa Enusin, the MC, has joined and is watching. We have Vincent Otri who's watching. Sele Fauzi Sinari is watching. Kofi Yeboah is watching again. And here we have a comment for you, Hawa. This is coming from Sami Dafor. And Sami Dafor says that great contribution. Asiedu Nketiah's action must be condemned in uncertain terms. It is unacceptable and must not happen again. Today, people are in trouble and he is sleeping comfortably in his house. That's an interesting twist. After then you go and switch your air conditioning and you are sleeping. And then people are out there doing their own struggle. Chester Selom Rector also says, great show for the people. I love the grassroots. Chester, we love you too so much. Thank you for doing the watching. I think at this point, one more comment comes from Tuafo Rich Kweku, who is from Bando. Bando is a soft, very, very soft spot in my heart, right? He's saying that Hawa Shaban, solid submission in regards to both of you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I think at this point we want to take a break so that you can cool your throats with Liam's alkaline water. And Liam Alkaline Water are actually the sponsors of this program, and the opportunity exists for many other people to also advertise your product, your service, and your ideas on this program. To do so, please call me. Call the numbers. Call this number after the show, 0245 21 96 21. That number is 0245 21 96 21. Call us. Let's talk some soft, very soft terms, so that you can also advertise either live presenter mention, or you can advertise your montages on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick break at this point and we'll be right back. Right, I think you've had a sip. We are having a bit of a technical issue that now Hawa is vindicated. Yeah, Hawa is vindicated that the systems cannot solely be trusted all the time. A bit of a technical problem. So I think we will want to look at a second issue for the day that quickly, as maybe in the middle somewhere we can take a break, stretch a little bit, and then come to continue. But here we are. One of the people that must show a lot of gratitude to leadership of the country, especially the promise giver, who I call the godfather of this concept and policy, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for maintaining his stance and making sure that same comes to realization that free SHS has become a household name in Ghana now. And students who have been beneficiaries from SHS 1 all to SHS 3 currently are taking their exams. We've all sat exams before at the SS level and beyond. And we know it's feverish. Those exams, no matter how prepared you are, entering into the examination hall sends some level of shivers down your spine. But in years past, it never resulted into rampages, destruction, and damage to property, harm of invigilators, harm of WAEC officials, harm of teachers, and the like. It hasn't resulted into that. Worst of all, which must be condemned in uncertain terms, worst of all, words used to insult, to say ill things about the president, the first gentleman of the republic, by young people who should be at most like 17 years. Where have we gone wrong? So much taxpayer money is being used to ensure this for you. Free everything. You just go. Your own is to sit behind the book and learn. But here their agitation is that Apple has swept them, and that invigilators are being too hard on them. What are the likely causal factors that has led us to this development? And what should we expect of our youth going forward? This time around, I think I'll start with Hawa.
Okay, I think issues of exams and preparing to prepare for exams is actually a very tough thing. The anxiety, the nervousness, the panic attacks you get, especially when you are not prepared.
Oh my God.
Especially, I want to stress on it, especially when you are not prepared.
Okay.
Now, in this situation where we have a president who saw the vision to actually say that I think secondary education should be free and everybody must be involved. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are coming from, and all that. You should be in school free. If we don't applaud him, if we don't pray for him, and if we don't support him, then we are ungrateful. It means that even if God gives you food for free, you can't say thank you. Morally, it is wrong for any student to vandalize any school property.
Yeah.
I think in our time when we were going to write WAEC exams, the only time you get to jubilate is after you're done with your last paper.
Yeah.
And the jubilation is just water and sand.
Yeah.
We pour on each other with powder and all that.
Yeah.
If you have any food left in your troubles, you share with your school kids and all that.
Yeah.
And that was source of happiness for us because you've gone through 4 years or 3 years and you are alive and you are well and you are happy. At that moment, the only thing you think about is not your results, it's happiness because you're done with school.
Absolutely.
If you're a girl, you are going to style your hair.
Absolutely.
If you're a man, you're going to. And that was our source of inspiration. Now, in this situation, I saw videos of students. For me, I was actually asking myself, what went wrong? What happened when they were home?
Precisely.
Okay, because you've been home for some time now, doing nothing. You were not going to the farm. You were not going to sell because the country was under a total
Lockdown,
shutdown.
so
You were not helping anybody with anything.
Isolation.
The only thing maybe you might do is to sweep your room or help your mother or your father to do something in the house, and that was it. And somebody spends a lot of taxpayers' money to pay your fees, your feeding, your accommodation, your electricity, and your uniform, and you insult the person just because you feel your apostrophe. But let's take another perspective of this discussion. Whenever exams are approaching, especially WAEC exams, you might get some people who will tell you that they have links with WAEC and that they can get you answers or questions to learn and pass. And these people extort money from students. And surprisingly, students pay. They pay thousands of Ghana cedis to get Apple. Okay. And after they paid and they get there and they are disappointed, you want to shift your blame on the president, who are giving you all you need to pass an exams. Just sit down, flip through your books, read, and go and write exams, and you have an issue. Now we have to investigate those people. Students who are arrested, and I've seen the steps GES had taken, and I must commend them for that. Those who are found culprits, they should tell us who those people are. And you might find now that this student will tell you that this adult folks told them they work with WAEC. and so they take monies from them, and when they get there,
yeah, the purported people who
yes,
engage
they are
them with
disappointed.
the assurances that they'll
We
give them.
must find these people.
Okay. What of those
Teachers?
Not to cut you, but what of those who are rather laying the blame at the doorstep of the president?
Yeah,
okay?
I'll come to that.
The morality of it must be condemned in all forms.
That is why I said let us look at it from the other side and not from the political side.
Fantastic.
Okay, this matter shouldn't be discussed based on political lines. Wrong is wrong. So, teachers who take money from students and say, I would invigilate you and I'll make you copy. We have to hold them.
But no, but
this
you don't know. Because those who are interrogating the matters, they will want to say, opinion, akora and kasanchre. It's part of our moral fiber.
No, I'll come to that. I'm not ignoring that side. But
some are saying on the opposite, okay? Some are saying that it is rather the president, okay, who is the first gentleman who calls the shot, and Minister of Education, GS, and all who have to comply, who has given them a false hope. Either you presented them past questions, and there were indications, okay, the process leading to that had a number of teachers coming together for a workshop on how to actually, convey that how to answer.
You have a full grasp of those past questions.
Oh yes, I've not read, but I have a copy of.
You wrote mock exams.
I did.
So let's take it. Those past questions were part of the mock exams that had been given to them.
But so at that time, we have to find a way to get those past questions ourselves and all that. But this time around, it is state machinery that has given them the past questions and say, hey, take. And on top of that, the president will say, these are my babies, Akufo-Addo babies.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, no, I've seen it.
But I've seen it on social media.
It's a matter of public record.
Yes, I've seen it on social media flying, but I haven't had any first-hand copy of it. I don't think the GES has come out to say that it is true that they gave them this past question to rely on. But the issue is that when you are preparing for an exam, must we rely on any purported answer? Who gives answers before? So what is the purpose of the exams? It nullifies the purpose of the exams. When you are given a past question and you are told that this is your past question, go and read and come and write this same thing. So what is the purpose of WAEC exams? What are we saying? Then we could have just allowed them to write entrance exams and then go to their universities. If that is the case, if they should give you a question that this is what is going to come, go and prep for it, then what is the purpose of that exams? Are you getting me? So I am saying that any student who feels irresponsible or who thinks that irresponsibility on the part of him as a child is to disobey and insult the president and the rules of engagement, it is actually wrong. There are counseling centers in our schools, and before examination, they are part of WAEC structure to counsel and prepare students' minds. Are you saying that wasn't done? Of course it was done. You understand? These are students who just go out of their ways just to be students who want to bully or use any chance to insult the person.
But what of those who
and there are exceptions to that. There are other schools who are jubilating. We've seen videos of other schools who are jubilating and saying that they are very happy, they are done with exams and all that. And I'm saying that if we close our eyes to we'll learn through mistakes. And I've always said that. If you don't prepare and you go and sit even university exams and you think you learned for 3 months to come and write exams, you will shiver. You will resort to insults. And we have had classmates and we know everybody's level of intelligence and how people prepare for exams and all that. You have people who will never read. When they get it, they will deliver. They will go their way. We have people who just glance through. They will deliver and go their way. We have people, it will take months to learn. You knew you had an exam. You were called back to school and you were not called back today and tomorrow you are writing exams. You were called back. You were given time. You were given time to prepare. The teachers were there to take you through. So what has been the crime of the president? I just want to know.
Fantastic. So those who want to go us back and say, okay, like you are pointing to the preparation, all right, and the exit exam is just the end to the means.
Yes.
The means start from entry.
Yes.
Some are of the view that it is because the free SHS policy itself has too many gaps. In that these children are not thoroughly prepared. And some want to make a comparison with previous schedules, where we go to school for like 3 months, you take a break, we go a trimester. This time around they are doing like a semester. And even in that, the contact hours are minimal. When they vacate, they come home, and you know it's so difficult to control these children. You ask them, go for classes, take your book and read, but that is usually not what they do. So some of them view that it is the preparatory process itself that has serious gaps that must be looked at, and that this is just emptying of the frustration and unpreparedness and you know the difficulty that the children actually have in grasping the content because the preparatory stage.
I beg to differ, okay.
Right.
Questioning the free senior high school policy would actually be a problem for me, because you have a president who from day one had given you everything. That is why I said everything had been provided, including schools that do not have enough classrooms.
Yeah.
The GES and the Ghana Education Service, the Education Ministry is building classrooms to be added on, and some schools actually had cancelled this shift thing we are talking about, and some are going full-time in full capacity. And I'm saying that this semesters, we're actually saying 3 months come back home and come and read and go back to school and go and write exams. Shouldn't be an excuse for a student. If you're a serious student, it shouldn't be an excuse. We attended university and we did say, we go in semesters, okay? But our level and our curriculum and our syllabus differs from them, okay? So for 3 years you are in school. You've been given the opportunity to sit and learn. I mean, if we talk about the whole issue around free senior high school, right now, what are we questioning? I want to know. Is it the availability of classrooms, the availability of textbooks, the availability of water, the availability of food? What else do you need to be prepared for an exam? Life has been made comfortable for you in school. All you need to do is to go to school and come back to your dormitory, or if you're a day student, pick a car, go to school, and come back home.
And some also think that, well, all these freebies, classic, but free things have consequences. In that somebody gives you an item for free, you treat it with a pinch of salt.
So
had you paid for it? As your parents suffered to pay the fees themselves, as had been the tradition. When it's time for you and they will even be pushing you that, hey, I'm spending money on you. This money would have gone into our building project. I'm spending on you.
So that is why parents have a role to play, because parenting is another problem. Okay? Parenting is another problem. We have to deal with this matter from all angles. So if you are paying a child's fees, let's say my dad is paying my fees, and at the end of every semester or every term, he's expecting a seminar report. You think if somebody is paying for me, and the person is a guardian or my father's brother or a relation, I shouldn't make the person proud. I think that students should start looking at it in a way that they should let the president feel proud of what he has done.
In fact, that's been my expectation, you know.
You understand? Like the prime president,
this money,
they were jubilating, and let us Ghanaians, those who pay taxes, let us feel proud that what our money has been used for.
Serious investment to the future.
Because now you vandalize school properties. Your younger ones will come back to school. Government must spend a whole money on these things, and you come and blame government for what? I don't think that.
But they are going to pay for it.
Yes, they would. I've seen the press release.
I
have seen the press release. I watched Joy News and the exams officer for Tamale Senior High School. I felt for him. He said they were actually coming to his house to come and beat him up, and they were stopped by some people. Imagine students who take the laws into their hands to go and take a mob action on an exams officer. What future are we preparing for? And they say we students are the future leaders. And what kind of behavior are we displaying? I know the president is a compassionate person, but I know deep within him he will feel a bit of ungratefulness on the part of students. Because he goes to schools to go integrate projects and all that, and you find students singing to him and praising him and telling him they are very grateful for free senior high school. And today you turn around to insult him. The young man actually who insulted the president yesterday, I saw his video. that he
Maybe an
apologized.
apology, yeah.
But that young man should know that the video and the mark will stay with him. As you grow up, somebody will remind you that this is what you did some time ago. Are you going to be proud of yourself? That is why I always say that it's good to attack policies and not personalities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because one day somebody might look back to you and say, this is what you did, this is what you did. This, I won't mention names, but there are people in this country today, when people mention their names, they get saddened. And a lot of things are ascribed to them, which are not morally good for somebody who wants to build a future. I don't know what the young man wants to become in life, but
currently, the punishment or directive issued by the Ghana Education Service towards them. Let me read just a couple of them to you, and let's see if well, these are children, and like they say, you don't kill the fly with a sledgehammer. Okay, but the communicate press release from Ministry Ghana Education Services, reaction of management of Ghana Education Service to issue of indiscipline in school. Management of Ghana Education Service has received report from the various schools where issues of indiscipline acts were reported as fallout from the writing of the integrated science examination paper on Monday, 3rd August 2020. Management condemns all the acts of reported indiscipline and takes a very serious view of the conduct of those involved. To serve as deterrence, then this is where we are drawing our attention to serve as deterrence and to ensure that life and property are protected in the schools, the following actions have been taken. 1. The following students have been dismissed, totally dismissed from the school and barred from writing the current examination in the school. The name goes on and on and on. But the
dismissal,
the basis is that they have been dismissed. About 14 of them have been dismissed, and they are also barred from taking part of this year's exam. It means that they can only
take part
find
in
a
the
way
next one.
if nature allows them
if it's
to
current,
realign.
if GES is the current exams, it means that the next one they can be allowed to run.
But like I'm saying, nature and the way it takes, if they don't end up in some.
I feel that
is it worth that problem?
I feel that apart from dismissing them, I think they need love at this time.
Please say that again, because
I think apart
I want the grassroots members to hear the heart of a mother. The heart of a mother speaking.
I think that apart from being dismissing them from school,
right,
they need attention and love. Okay. In as much as we are trying to correct them, at this time they are going through a lot. Because they have become popular.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or yes. Everybody knows them.
A friend posted that, and asking, saying that, the guy has become popular. Now, my question was,
yes.
Is this positive popularity?
No.
Or negative popularity?
So they need counseling, they need better parenting. And the government, I know, would take or call back the students to come and write the next exams. Because these are the people we strongly believe that they can change something in the society.
These are the people we strongly believe they can change something in the society. That is coming from Hawa Shaban, who is a member of the youth wing of the New Patriotic Party. And with this motherly call and motherly intuition coming from her, I will be very, very disappointed if in the future, the teaming youth of the New Patriotic Party do not gradually push her and vote for her to become the youth organizer, national youth organizer, national women's organizer, and things. I'll be very, very surprised, because this is a motherly, appeal on the behalf of these young people. Kofi Nyonyoh, you've been silent and enjoying the talk, but it's your turn to also make us hear you on this development about our students. Young people, very appalling. On certain terms, we condemn it. Attacking and calling, using words that we do not put forth to our elders, using those on the president. But some again are of the view that we should look at the fiber of our society, actually deteriorating. Why do they say so? They say this, lacing it with how all of us from the political divide, how we describe, how we attack, how we call and ascribe vindictives and all forms of diatribes to our leaders. I don't want to cite instances, but you and I are here and are aware of some of the things that we've said about leaders, that some of them are incompetent You know, we've spoken about the president that he's not well and he's going to. I don't want to draw our minds to some of those facts, but are people who are calling for a assessment of our moral fiber, especially taking it from leadership to the bottom, that we should be careful the sort of seeds we are sowing about our political opponent. In that we sow it today, tomorrow it may be waiting for us. What do you say to those who are making such a call?
Mr. Dan, actually you just took most of the words out of my mouth. That I don't know what to add to this great submission that you just made, because all along while I was listening to my sister Hawa, I think we're on the same wavelength. You see, something has been growing in this country as we're talking about the moral decadency. It didn't start now. It started some time back, and everybody has been onlooking and not making it look like it's something which is serious. And as we were saying, we all went to secondary school, various schools and all that. We did a whole lot of things and all that. But there wasn't an influence of what you call it, the social media. So probably those things were in the dark, which were now manifested in the public for people to know what we did. Well, we probably vandalized a couple of things at school and all that. But my submission is not to condone what the young man or the young siblings did in all those various schools, from the Trinidad Kodria, the Secondary College, and the Bright College, and all that. You see, all what they did was uncalled for.
Right.
But as I was saying, I wouldn't blame them that much, because this is a situation whereby we need to look at what goes on in our various secondary school, because as you and I know, most of these secondary schools that we go to, in the initial stages as your the primary stage, like a Form 1 student, there should be an area which we call the guidance and counseling section. I know most schools have it, but how well are they using it to mold the kids when they go to school, for them to know the purpose of them being there? Everybody knows that he's going to school to learn, to achieve a result at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of his school, or classes years, spending 3 years at school and all that. But do they know, or are they really much aware why they went to that secondary school and the benefit that will be derived after they are done with their secondary school and moving on in life as their career prospect and all that? Because we all know what APO is, and we all get other materials when we're going to write exams finally. But what I always insist is that APO is not what you are going to get at the final stage. APO is only there to guide you in expecting what is to be on the final day. It doesn't mean that when you have an APO, whatever you see in APO is what is going to appear on the paper on that day.
I love these two words.
Yes.
The APO will appear on the paper.
It will not appear on the paper.
You know, in my secondary school days, we had a senior who was marketing a manual, and his descriptions were there's three steps. If you bought it alone, you get a C. If you buy it and you flip through, you get a B. Then if you buy it and you just read the lines, you get an A. Why? Because he has a handkerchief inside, which gives you apokron. That one is apokron. So and you know, at that stage, we were disciples of his ministry. We believed it. And now young people too, at their stage, you and I have moved on. So we now understand the power behind just making the time, reading the material, examining it, questioning, quizzing yourselves and all that. How we stay so fast. But at that stage, those things are like, Charlie, yes, you will never, but why do I have to worry myself and go and be reading something else? Let me just concentrate on this apokron and go.
So those are just a few of those students or people who went overboard, because as they were making all those allegations, insulting the president, which I totally condemn, and vandalizing school property, attacking invigilators and all that, some of their own mates were also seriously learning and writing the exam, and they will achieve whatever success it is.
Yeah.
So those ones, I wouldn't want to delve so much into it.
Okay.
But the bit on the GES is what I found very harsh on those students, because if we knowing we know you very well that the school and what these guys are the first batch of our free SHS, that we know that most of them have what they are coming from a background that might not be able to put them in school. But God being so well, that a policy of free SHS has been implemented, though some of us disagree with the present initial stage. It has come to stay as a government policy that will be there forever, that you cannot do anything about.
Right.
What are you going to do about free SHS? It's come to stay.
Right.
Just to support it because it's for all of us. And it's our taxpayers' money that's being used to finance or maybe project whatever the free SHS is. So what it is that we should be doing is that those kids, at least if they were in the boarding house, what I normally know is that you just demodernize them. They come from outside, maybe either they get a house or a room being rented by their parents or whoever their guardian is. They come and write their exams, and after, because they will still come back to school for their result before they go to university. You don't get a result from the house. You have to come back to your mother's school to get your result before you can apply for any other tertiary or whatever you want to do with it. If you know you are no more going to the university or continue with your career, then whatever you want to do is up to you.
Okay.
Because I know after we did our SS, most of us that went back, there was a punishment waiting for us. As big boys that we were assuming that we were going to the school to just come and have fun. And when you go there, your name is being read out. I remember I went to my former school for my my WAEC certificate and all that, and they went through my records, and they were like, my name was found at one of the classrooms. Honestly speaking, I never did that. But you know, guys and all that, people go to the school writing names and all that. So my nickname was being mentioned against my name. That my name has been found in one or two classrooms, and these are the paints and the materials that I needed to buy before I take my certificate. And I have to call home for money to be sent for me to pay, because without it, you are not going. And I needed that thing for my future distance. So I don't know what the counseling or maybe what it goes into all this, but it seems there's some kind of self-entitlement that they felt automatically they needed that apport to appear on the paper for them to. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't want to.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you agree with me that we need to take a break now.
Okay.
All right. We'll take a break now. Then when we come back, we have just about some 22 minutes on the show, so we'll touch briefly 2 minutes to touch on that, and then we can look at who better managers of the economy is. We are going to election, but the economy is still being managed, so we want to look at who the better manager of the economy is. Viewers, thank you so much for keeping trust with us and still watching us. We are taking a quick break. We'll be right back.
Drinking water is essential to your health. That's why you need to drink plenty of water to keep you hydrated and healthy throughout the day. Unlike energy drinks and soft drinks, water is truly the only drink that can quench your thirst. It's an easy and refreshing way to keep your body healthy and strong. Freshen up today with the timely brisk alkaline water, Liam's Enagic Kangen Water. Liam's Enagic Kangen Water. Change your water, change your life. For bulk purchase, contact 0303 966 790 or 0244 551 333 or 0244 293 624.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back on the show. Thank you so much for keeping tuned in. This is the Grassroots Talk Show. And today I have with me Kofi Nyonyoh and Hawa, Shaban, who are looking at issues that have made headlines through their lenses. Our viewers and those of you who are joining us on all platforms on Modern Ghana TV column, look for LMTV. Those of you who are watching us from there, especially from the United States of America, we thank you so much for keeping that faith with us. Our friends who are also watching us on Facebook Live, thank you so much for spending your time and giving us your comments and encouragements in the comment section. We are grateful for this. Which we have very little time left on the show. My guests are always kind of left in the middle because we think that the time should be able to address a lot of things, but we end up actually doing justice. We don't just let the issue slide, so we do justice to it. Nyonyoh's final words before we took our break, I cannot glean from him that he feels the comments are unsavory, needn't be condoned by anybody, but the punishment on the young kids is way too much, which largely agrees with your motherly position. So mother and father position, they must look at the punishment again, right? I want us to look at a final bit of our talk, the discussions for today. And I know all of you are also following the economics. We dealt with some social developments, but the economic aspect is also very important to us. And why do we want to do that? Because we want to set a good standard, a good scale leading to the 2020 election. In that, unlike before where we only ran behind T-shirts, COVID at that rumor, this time around, T-shirts are not really going to be flown around in their numbers. Rallies are not encouraged, just so that we don't increase our COVID infection cases and give ourselves problem as a nation and all that. But going a bit away from that, we will still be stuck to the records that, like the president clearly put it when he visited Kumasi and gave submissions on Untumi's TV. His position was that Mohammed's administration and his administration, they've all tasted a 4-4-year mandate. So we should be comparing the records to tell who are better managers of this economy. President Mahama, in launching his running mate, gave some 18 promises. He's coming to pay district what we call them assemblymen. He's coming to conduct a free health scheme. Just opposing that with national health insurance. He's coming to give us free health scheme and a number of other promises. Nana also maintains his good works. He deserves 4 years more. I'll start with you, 5 minutes on that. How I will take 5 minutes, and then we. So who are better managers of this country?
That's something probably will be decided by the grassroots. That who are the better managers. I'm just an individual who has my own views over all this. But it's very important that both leaders of the two major political parties are going on the tangent of telling Ghanaians who is better managing the economy or who should be given the mandate to be able to manage our economy, and they are going to be comparing what I know, which is infrastructure, their figures, economic figures and indication and all that. I'm not good in economics, I might say, but those who matter when it comes to such situation, which are the grassroots members, they will definitely know and weigh between the two, because the former president John Mahama has been the president before. He did something, and though he might have done a lot, people still felt that maybe he didn't do well. So I wouldn't use the word rejected, but they voted against him during the 2016 election period, and they had faith in our current president, who is President Nana Akufo-Addo. So between the years past, which was the 12 to 2016, and from 2017 to 2020 now. At least if people are dead or people have died, they've gone. But some of us who are still alive by the grace of God, we are going to be measuring the two leaders of our country, what they did for this country. So I like where the debate is getting into, so that we will try to move the tax ahead and understand that when you belong to a political party, or when a political party is being voted into government, it beholds on that government machinery to use our tax money in developing the country for the betterment of the citizens. It's not about the insults and attacks, making it look like we are at each other's throats, because that's not it. This competition that we always go into, which is the political competition, going on a voting day, December 7th, to vote who should be our leader of the country, shouldn't be at each other's throats. It's about spelling your policies and your ideals. making people believe that this is what you are ready to do for the country. If people buy into the idea, fair enough, they vote for you.
Okay.
You understand?
We are yet to receive the NDCs. Now the tag on it is the People's Manifesto. We are yet to receive.
I think I think
it's circulating, but
it's circulating, but I don't think the president, the former president, has launched it.
It's not been launched yet.
I think except of it, it's been shared around.
But if you want to tie him to just even the 18 promises that were communicated during the outdooring of the running mate, one of which was that he will reduce the size of his government by 40 ministers. Currently, we have over 100 ministers helping in the run of the state of affairs. But he says he will come and reduce. And he says that he's coming to provide free technical and vocational education. He's also coming to institute a national apprenticeship program. He's coming to scrap 50% increments in the communication task bill. He's coming to provide districts without hospitals with fully equipped. Are these things that we need? Are these things that are some of these things that really, really matter to the Ghanaian, to the grassroots person?
The grassroots person cares about the economy. And the economy that we are talking about is not what you and I know about economic figures and all that. The majority of the people who are the citizens of this country, what they do are basically trading. And if probably you go to market and I and my sister Hawa will come and be buying good food stuff for people, and they can go home, cook for their husbands, wives, or kids, be able to pay basic school fees for your kids and all that. I don't think people will be much worried about whatever economic figures that you are projecting and all that. Those words or maybe those figures that are being projected by both parties and all that is only for you and I, who
for the purposes of debates and academics.
For purposes of academics and debates. You are right. So I always feel that anybody who is being given that mandate by the Ghanaians should be able to come to that level to treat our basic citizens, the needed, what do you call it, support. So if, for instance, the 18 promises that the former president is espousing, that when he comes to power, he's going to do it. If that's what the Ghanaians are going to buy into and vote him to power, that's it.
Fantastic. So Kofi Nyonyoh is of the view that the whole Ghana is about bread and butter, right? So the economic primary, secondary indicators may be there, but bread and butter. If you don't have that on the table, you can't pay your kids' school fees and the like. That's where the frustration sets, and that's where you have the need for an option for a president. Let me come to my sister Hawa. Yes, we will say you are in power now, and there's no way you can say you are not performing. But your critics will say no. Even if you take ourselves back to 2014, where our current Vice President Alhaji, His Excellency Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia, would have said that if the fundamentals are weak, if the trade balance is weak, if your import-export ratios are weak, if the GDP growth rate is weak, if those indicators and fundamentals are weak, then the exchange rate will expose you. And here we are today, the cedi is trading well over something close to 6 Ghana cedi, all right, 5.7, depending on where you are changing it from. Do we judge by this and say then, because when the NDC was leaving office, the cedi was trailing at something close to 4 Ghana cedi, let's assume, all right, and now we are doing almost 6 Ghana cedi. Do we then say that by his own measuring stick, the economy is in tatters and that we need the NDC back to come and rescue us?
Economy is a big subject to discuss, and it's actually broad, from infrastructure to industrialization to social needs, basic amenities to health to sanitation and all that. It's all under economy. Now, we are looking at a government that has done just 3 and some few months, and 3 years and some few months to 4 years, just opposing their records with a party that had done 8 years in government, and the former president says he did 6 years in government.
It should be 4 years and 4 years, July to, so 4 years, 5 months.
Well, we are going to compare those records. 8 years in government and 3.5 years in power. Who had done better? Who had managed the economy better? And as my brother says, the economy of the ordinary Ghanaian lies with buying cocoa in the morning with butter, or maybe buying cocoa and kose, and at lunch you can take your komi kekena, and then in the evening you can actually go for maybe fufu if you are a typical local person, you know. So economy actually is a broad area. Now when you come to the issue of infrastructure, we would want to compare records. And as the NDC's major flagship program was, it was about infrastructure. Ideally, every country wants to look good. Every country wants big infrastructures.
To the point
but
you
see,
the University of Ghana hospital, they point to you, Ridge Hospital, they point
Ridge
to you,
Hospital, Dubai, Kaswa,
all of that.
and all
they
that.
point to you and say, hey, we've done that with about 80 million that was borrowed.
Well, inflated prices with bloated prices. We would compare all those things to the current ones we are yet to.
But they want to say that you have borrowed more than they did. They borrowed 80 million.
Well, if we borrowed
123
if we borrowed and Ghanaians are benefiting from our borrowing, is that not far better from your Dubai that
they say you don't have anything to show for it?
Really?
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
On another day when we come, maybe I should come and discuss what my ministry has done so far.
Fantastic.
And we will just oppose that. My mother in Oti region doesn't use Dubai often. Maybe even when she comes to Accra, she might not even go to Circle. Maybe the first she would go to is Accra to go and pick a car. She won't even use Dubai. You understand? But my mother in the village is enjoying because some of my cousins and my relatives are going to school for free. And as we are saying, our flagship program is free senior high school and other things. We would show their records. We will show on paper. Aside showing on paper like people did in the green book and they couldn't prove, we will prove to them visually. You can go and see.
So should we be expecting a white paper?
Of course.
Maybe
not a white paper. We are not doing books.
But
if you want, we can buy people to go and see the things we've done.
Okay.
Like people went on tour at Dubai.
Okay.
You know? So we are going to do this. Aside that, we are managing an economy in crisis. And when I say in crisis, we are even in COVID. And looking at what the government had done, Nigerians are not enjoying that. But the Nigerian president is head of COVID West Africa, or I think Africa.
Yeah.
But they are not enjoying what we are enjoying. We have free water for some months, electricity slashed to some point, health workers are benefiting, those are frontliners and all that, and people are benefiting from it. Small scale enterprises have gotten some allowances to cushion them and all that.
Atoforsin says, the Honorable Minister, Member of Parliament, Atoforsin, says that the 11 billion, 11.14 plus billion Ghana cedi that is being used to tackle the pandemic so far, it deserves a serious critique and serious analysis.
Well, the ordinary Ghanaian will tell on the 7th of December. We will all go to poll.
Okay.
You understand? It's just for the ordinary Ghanaian to decide whether I enjoy it or not. And if it's bread and butter matter, we have done better. Because if your child, you have 5 kids, and 3 of them are in senior high school, and you don't pay over 2,000 or 3,000 Ghana cedis to pay school fees, you can invest in a business. It will work for you. If you are not paying for national health insurance, which collapsed under NDC, and they are promising us another health system, free something about health, when the one-time premium they were talking about never happened under them, I mean,
no,
you
they
should
tell me
question
that the president, being an honest, blessed memory for former President Tamils, came back to say that, look, from where you looked at it and where it was being seen at the time, he regrettably withdrew that statement and said it was not possible. So we should treat him as having.
But you see, we can't actually treat President Mills without President Mahama.
That's true.
And that is why the MPP, we always say that we have the men and people are confused. If your president sits with you in cabinet and tells you that this thing we cannot do it, don't you have people who can say, Mr. President, let's work our ways around this, let's do this, let's do this. That is why you sit in cabinet meetings, so that you are properly managing an economy. You go to economic management meetings and you are able to deliberate on matters. And I have said that Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, God bless him, and he's unmatched in this country. And we've said it. We'll go to the polls December 7th. Bamia's face will not be there. But Akufo-Addo's face will be there. And we are going to based on their records and votes.
Okay.
Then you cannot tell me that you are not enjoying in this country. Maybe when you go and buy prepaid 100 cedis and it's been doubled for you, or maybe you go and pay for electricity bill and it's slashed for you. I mean, it brings some sort of satisfaction to you because you have other responsibilities. Maybe you're taking care of a cousin, a brother, you know, somebody around you, and maybe you're going to pay 2,000 Ghana cedis for electricity bill and on commercial base, and you have a company or you are managing an industry and you have to pay this huge money and it's slashed into two. What hasn't that done to you? It's a good thing because that money that had been given to you for free by the government saying that, okay, I understand we are in crisis, okay, keep this money, use it for other things. You can buy products to cushion your company, you can take care of family business and other things. And I'm saying that if it's about economy, it's not about the NDC. They actually know that we have managed the economy better. If we've borrowed,
they disagree on that. They disagree. But like you
borrowed,
already said,
if we've borrowed and we are sharing the enjoyment with them.
Fantastic. Like the borrowing component, they tell you that you borrowed over 123.
That's not true. Atoforsen, you know, Atoforsen has a problem. I keep on saying that Atoforsen knows the right thing. I mean, Atoforsen is an excellent finance person and economics and all that.
Atoforsen, Azigadongo, all these people who tell you that no.
Yes, but do not close your eyes to the facts. I mean, open your eyes, see the truth, and say that, okay, let's commend this government for what they've done. I mean, when they meet on the floor of Parliament and they are debating with the likes of the chair of the finance committee, Marcos Sibe and Kojo Opon-Kroma, you would understand the real matters. It's not what they just come on TV and say. Actually, if you follow their interviews on TV, both parties, you would know those who have managed the economy better. Because I am saying that if in the midst of all this crisis,
I think we have just about 5 minutes more, so
in the midst of all this crisis, in conclusion, Ghanaians are enjoying. Even prior to election, it's not just because of election, but you're enjoying even in the era of COVID. You've been given free things, free food, and all that. I have gone to communities to share food. Maybe if you've seen my wall on Facebook, it's been shared and all that. It's government relief items.
So we should agree that MVP are better.
Oh yes.
Deserving of renewal of their
course.
Okay.
Of course, gratitude
you brought
is a
in,
must.
just by in conclusion, you brought in, the fact that it's going to be President Adodankwa and former President Jomano.
On the poll, yes.
Those images are going to be on the.
Of course.
And that we didn't even look at the nitty-gritties of things said by the Vice President, Alhaji Amawan Bawumia. But here we are now. I'm asking you that question because of a comment somebody has sent me here. Advocacy for women, okay, the minority groups and then women especially in the gender conversation. All right. Now we have a running mate of a major political party, the NDC, being a woman. Are you happy about that?
I am so happy.
Comparing that to
I have followed Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman for a very long time now. I am happy when I see a woman everywhere and she's doing well. That woman has done amazingly well. And we in the MPP, we've said that we are not going to base our debates on gender or religion or ethnicity, but we are going to base our debates on merits, credentials, and proper academic discourse, policy-based discourse, on records. So I am happy for her, but I'm saying that I feel that she's being used.
Yeah.
I feel that she's being used in a certain way because she's a
that's
woman.
subjective.
Yes, because she's a woman. That's why I quoted it, because she's a woman.
Yeah.
People want votes and all that. I don't have anything against it.
Okay.
I feel that if Prof is coming to add anything vital to it, the NDC should welcome it. I have seen how other vice presidents have ended in administration under the NDC. I pray she doesn't go through the same thing. I miss all the frustration and everything. I pray she's able to stand her ground and work well. I'll be so happy to see her after 7th December congratulating us, which I know she will do. And her name has given some of us strength to know that we can go that higher. So I congratulate her and I pray that one day when I meet her, I'll tell her that she's brought some sort of inspiration to the young women out there.
Okay, I was saying that in relation to a comment that one of our viewers had posted, actually, giving you the moral energy, temperature to go higher. So Nia Ikwe submits that Hawa is going to be our future gender minister.
Oh.
It is loading, like that. So you can receive it. You say you should receive it.
Amen, amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
you'll be a future gender minister. Wayu Victory is also watching us from somewhere in the Ashanti region. We have Wayu Victory coming back to say that this is an excellent show and he endorses it for the Grassroots. We have Sylvester Kade. Forgive me if I didn't pronounce it well. If your name is Kade or you're actually testing us from Kade, Sylvester Kade says the macroeconomic indicators translates into the micro, right, which talks about the bread and butter. So let's discuss the indicators. What's the fiscal deficit now and the like. But like you are, I can see from your testing that you are an economist. We are also roadside economists, right? But we appreciate you coming on the show so that we can actually, dissect matters that have to do with the macro, the micro, and all the crops, right? So we have Abuadi Sapon coming back to say he's loyal and he loves this program. Thank you, sir. We love you so much for making the time to watch us. Kofi, we have just about 3 minutes. Do you have anything to say before I
not much though, okay. But just what my sister was discussing about the infrastructure and economy and all that. Others from the other side will also be like, but for me,
when you say the other side, you mean the NDC?
Like the NDC.
So wait, maybe we can open this conversation again and then come and look at it.
Yeah, just a brief one.
Indeed, economics.
It's a very.
I love a submission that citizen Kofi Amwa made on a sister station yesterday, and I was just so much in love with the statement. A basic way of presenting economics. He says this is economics. Find land, find the people, marry them to the land, and the resulting outcome will be money, will be employment, and will be money. It sounded so simple, but I found that there was a lot of, if you want to tie that with the development ideologies that the Japanese, the Chinese, and so on have all, told. So it boils down to land, which will cultivate into food, bread, and butter. Marry with the people, they can cultivate, give them best of tools, the best of technology, best of science, and that will translate into money. Right? So I largely agree with both of you on that. But if you don't mind, we have to open that economic dialogue.
Yeah, sure.
Economic verbal intercourse.
Yeah, sure.
Between the two of you so that we can come and it's economics, right? So that we can come and do justice.
Sure.
In signing out, we are so grateful, so much thankful to you for making time and watching us on the Grassroots Talk Show today. Today with me had been Hawa Shaban, who is a youth wing member of the New Patriotic Party, the ruling party in government. And we also had Kofi Nyonyoh, who is a social commentator, coming on the show. I'll be your host, Dan Butche. This show has been proudly sponsored by Liam's Alkaline Water. Liam's Alkaline Water has very high pH, all right? And your immune system needs to be boosted by also melting the acidic content and acidic things that we put within our body. And alkaline water has that ability to do so. Liam's water, mineral alkaline water, is vetted and approved by the FDA, which tells that it has passed all the standards that merit its health benefits and all that. So make time, call them, get some for your weddings, get some for your funeral, get some for your home, put them in the fridge, and drink quantities of it every day. It will help boost your immune system. You also want to come on the show as a sponsor, as somebody who will market your products to our cherished viewers, teaming cherished viewers. We have well over 1,000 viewers on Morning Ghana TV. We have several viewers. By the time this video travels a week, we have no less than 500 views as well on Facebook. So please come on board, sponsor. Let's talk some terms. Call the number 0245 219621. That number is 0245 219621. Call us, let's talk some software so that you can also advertise your product, service, and ideas on the show. With me have been, like I said, Hawa and Kofi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time and coming. All right, so we'll see you again, God will, next week, Saturday.
Girls, I say sexy girls. Hello, choristers. Don't forget to make it a point to come for choir practice. This is your humble servant, the C, the M, the choir master, the man with all the AKs in town, AK Octopus Sport, AK Atom 13, AK Odipua. You're watching LMTV. Keep it locked.
Okay, yo. Okay, so this is your boy Kofi, a champion, and it's all about what? It's all about me, but not me right now. It's all about LMTV. Yo, you gotta keep that down there and don't move it at all. Yo, LM will blow your mind.
Drinking water is essential to your health. That's why you need to drink plenty of water to keep you hydrated and healthy throughout the day. Unlike energy drinks and soft drinks, water is truly the only drink that can quench your thirst. It's an easy and refreshing way to keep your body healthy and strong. Freshen up today with the timely brisk alkaline water, Liam's Enagic Kangen Water. Liam's Enagic Kangen Water. Change your water, change your life. For bulk purchase, contact 0303 966 790 or 0244 551 333 or 0244 293 624.
LMTV.
What if I told you that I really like you? What if I showed you that maybe I could surprise you? Would you be so kind to open up your mind and heart to